Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside Guns with your host, you guessed it, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about the shooting that occurred at the high school in Texas. Now, I'm not a person who likes to repeat the names of shooters, especially not school shooters, because they're usually monsters, and I don't want to give them any notoriety. But I don't think I can say this kid's a monster because it looks like there were maybe extenuating circumstances, but I'm still not going to say his name, mainly because I don't remember it. In fact, I was woefully uneducated on this story until tonight when I tried to look stuff up and look at interviews and look at stuff from the police department, etc. It's Timothy something, but I don't really know his whole name. And I'm not just refusing to say it, I don't know it. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, what do I think about this? Well, the thing I think about it most is, I don't know what to think about this, because I don't really have a lot of information. Now, when I was first told this happened, I was in a live chat and someone came on and said, hey, some kid shot someone, or first it was they shot 4 people or something like that, in a classroom in Texas. And I was like, oh, well, it's probably going to be one of two things. I said it's likely either going to be gang related, because that's what a lot of the crime is, or someone's been bullied. Because even in the case of the mass shootings at schools, usually it's a case of bullying. Like that kid that did the mass shooting not too long ago. And one of the things all the kids that were being interviewed afterwards said is, yeah, we used to always push him around and say, you're the kid that's going to come shoot the school up and we ought to kick your ass. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in other words, you bullied him mercilessly. And then he did a horrible thing, which he was a broken person to begin with to do such a horrible thing, but they didn't help any. I love how kids these days are on their Instagrams and everything else, like the Instamagram, saying, oh, everyone be your true self and love and acceptance. And then they go to school and they're like, fuck you, loser, you should kill yourself. So shut up with the fucking shit on the internet. It's annoying, especially when we know you don't live like that. But I want to talk about what I think. A lot of people are saying this kid got off too easy so far. He got released on bail too easy. The bail amount was too low. And some people even compared it to what Kyle Rittenhouse received as far as bail. And they said, oh, well, what's the difference between the two circumstances? And I'll talk about that a little bit. But first I wanted to talk about, like I said, what I thought about what happened. If it's true that he was bullied, well, then there are circumstances here. Are there circumstances here that justify going to school with a gun and shooting someone? No, that's not going to be justified. Don't think that that's something that most people are going to condone. And plus the fact that he had to go to his backpack and get the gun means he kind of premeditated the whole event. But don't we kind of premeditate an event sort of when we carry a gun every day? We carry it knowing if someone attacks us, we'll use it to defend ourselves. So the people that are throwing a lot of stones at this kid right now, I'm always like, well, why are you throwing stones at him? Is this another Philando Castile issue? Because I remember back in the day, I was like the only one making videos in support of Philando Castile. And to this day, I still get people come on my chats and go, well, where were you at when Philando Castile got shot by police? How come you weren't defending him like you do these other people? And I'm like, dude, you need to check your records, because I did. I still do. But like I was saying, I am not going to condemn this kid yet because I don't know the full circumstances. Did he do something stupid? Yeah, he's 18 years old. I know a lot of people say that's legally an adult. Anyone in here who's a parent knows that's a stupid kid. So can't condone what he did, but I can accept that there's circumstances. And I have to know what those are before I judge. You know, we don't have tons of video of this like we did with Kyle Rittenhouse, etc., where we had stuff that happened before the confrontation, right before the confrontation, during the confrontation, you know, all kinds of information. And this isn't as charged an event as the Rittenhouse thing was. This was more of an interpersonal interaction. I'm surprised that it's getting as much coverage as it has. I guess mainly because it's a shooting. I imagine how much coverage it would have gotten. I'd probably be way more informed on it if he'd been a pretty white girl, blonde-haired white girl, because I know way too much about that one girl that apparently, fell and accidentally strangled herself. And I'm only assuming I know so much about her because she's white. You know how many people were killed by domestic violence in the last 6 months, and then they're focusing on this one girl? Like, I should actually care about that. I don't sound insensitive. I don't think it's a good thing when anyone's strangled by their partner, but to pretend like it's this a newsworthy event is a little crazy. And to pretend like I should actually be that concerned or that involved in the lives of people that have nothing to do with me, it's a little absurd, and it just points out the weaknesses of our 24-hour news system. Because let's face it, it's not like there's just a random killer going around killing people in that area. If that was the case, if I lived in that area, I'd be concerned. If my kids were in that area, I'd be concerned. If I had family in that area, I'd be concerned. But this was a one-on-one domestic violence thing that happens all the time. And it's not like it's something that puts other people at risk. Just the two people involved were the ones most at risk in this. So I'm pretty sure I've never fucked that laundry guy or done him dirty or dated him at all. So I'm not worried. And I'm pretty sure no one in my family's fucked him. So I don't think they're in any danger. It was a domestic violence issue. So I don't know why we're being inundated with it. But I'm way off topic here. I'm talking about this kid in Texas. And like I said, until I know what happened, because some of the interviews I saw from kids today were saying the kid that got shot, well-known bully. The kid that did the shooting, well-known victim of this bully, according to the kids. Now, we can't put 100% validity on what the kids say. And there's supposedly some cell phone footage of it that I saw the transcript of, didn't see the footage, where the person in question that got shot is beating up the other kid. Attacked him, threw him to the ground, started punching him, kicking him, etc. And then the kid got up, scurried over to a backpack, drew his gun out, shot the kid. Now, first, a lot of people were saying 4 people were shot. Turns out only 1 kid and 1 teacher were shot. The kid he was shooting at got shot, and then a teacher got hit by a stray bullet. It wasn't like he was going after multiple people. He was definitely going after the bully from what evidence I've seen. So that does kind of support the bullying story. So if he was in a situation, and let's say he's done everything he could, he's talked to his parents, the school, teachers, principals, etc., and they're all just like, I don't got time for this. Just suck it up, which is, they do a lot. The way they treat kids in schools these days, the bullied get treated just as badly as the bullies with their stupid no-tolerance policies. They tried to suspend my son once for defending a transgender student who a bunch of bullies were trying to beat up and stick in a locker, and my son came up and showed him what a stout Samoan kid who's a brown belt in Krav Maga can do. And then they threatened to expel my son for taking care of the bullies, which I was like, well, let's take this to court so you can explain how you were failing to protect this transgender student from these bullies who has made multiple complaints to you. They decided they didn't want to do that, so my son got to stay in school. But like I said, the schools, the way they treat these kids, he might have felt like there's nothing he could do about this bully other than to protect himself. And a lot of people will be like, well, he don't need to go to school then. Why did he go to school? Well, if you want to get an education, you got to go to school. He doesn't want to ruin his life because of a bully. Not going to drive you. I can't believe anyone, and I've heard people suggest this, that he should just drop out of school. Why would you ever suggest that a kid should drop out of school because of a bully? I don't understand that either. I think sometimes people's bias is showing. But like I said, I don't know enough about it to say whether I think he's just a cold-blooded killer or whether he was a kid that was defending himself in the only way he knew how to do it. I'm not going to condemn him right off the bat because I have a feeling that if I'm condemning him for doing some of the things he did, I'm actually condemning some of the reasons we carry and some of the reasons people use guns to defend themselves. So I don't want to jump on that bandwagon right now. But then again, might turn out in a week that all that's a made-up story and they were just rival gang members and he took him out. Started trouble and then shot him. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not saying in any way that I think that. I'm just saying that that could happen and we could get information that's totally different. We could get video of him planning it for all I know. So I'm not going to defend him either, but I'm not going to condemn him. And as far as the Rittenhouse comparison, like why was Rittenhouse's bail so much more? I know some people want to make conspiracies about that. I'm not sure what the conspiracies are because when he was jailed, it was Republicans in charge. So I'm not sure who they're singling out here. But there's big differences between these two cases. Rittenhouse was somewhere he really didn't need to be. He went there with the intent purpose of being a counterforce to the people that they disagreed with. And he made some mistakes as far as what you should do while carrying, because remember, a lot of us say, and if you carry a gun, one of the biggest creeds you can believe in is, if it's someplace I have to carry a gun, then I'm not going to go. That was kind of the opposite thinking of what they did that night. But, I'm not saying they didn't have a right to do it. I'm just saying, if you want to avoid trouble, there's some things you can do, but maybe you shouldn't. But then he got himself in a situation where he had to defend himself. Doesn't make it any less self-defense, but it does have mitigating circumstances, and the courts look at that when they set bail. This kid was in a school where he's supposed to be doing what he's supposed to do while he got supposedly attacked and defended himself. Kyle Rittenhouse was in a place he wasn't supposed to be. The owner of the property he was on had told them not to be there, and for anyone out there who doesn't believe that, I suggest you go look at the interviews with the owner of the property. He clearly said, and even the day before he had been saying that he didn't want these people on his property, because the day before all of his cars had windows smashed out and everything. They interviewed him for the local news. He said, everyone stay away from here. And then after this happened, he said, I told them to stay away. I told them all my property had already been destroyed. There's nothing to guard. So they were on property they didn't own, defending a business they had no right to defend, at a time that it probably wasn't a good idea to be out on the streets with firearms, unless you were looking for trouble, or actually trying to do something good. It could be either way, and the courts look at that. I don't think that makes it any less self-defense, and I don't think that makes him any less of a kid who got caught up in a situation that was bad, but different scenarios there. One was where he was supposed to be and got attacked. One was where he probably shouldn't have been and got attacked. Could be there, but should be there is a different thing. Also, in this instance, in the school, one person is seriously injured, and a teacher got clipped by a stray round, not serious injuries. There's only one kid who was seriously injured, and he's the bully, and he's recovering. The other case, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, 3 people dead. There's a whole different situation there as far as the courts are considered, and thinking, is this person a risk to the community still? They don't know. Is he going to do something stupid again? Is this kid going to shoot someone else again? Does he have another bully? They all consider things like that. The Rittenhouse case, 3 dead people. That means it's going to be taken with a little bit more consideration than 1 injured person. So that's a difference between the 2 cases right there. But one of the biggest differences between the 2 cases, they both turned themselves in. Rittenhouse turned himself into police on the scene. The shooter in Texas turned himself into police shortly after he did it. So they both turned themselves in. This kid, legal age, lives in the state where the incident occurred. Kyle Rittenhouse, minor, lives across state lines, lives in another state, another jurisdiction. That's another thing they take into account when they set bail, etc. That can make your bail 4 or 5 times higher, can even make it to where they don't give you bail because of that. And plus, people like the Proud Boys and stuff weren't doing him any favors on the internet saying, if he needs to get out of town, we'll take him, we'll get him out of town. And, the prosecutors showing this stuff to the judge. Like, look, these organizations are saying they'll, shelter him. And then there was also another thing, like I said, that was very politically charged, what was going on with Rittenhouse. They had to think, if we release him right now and he goes home, is he in danger? Are they going to firebomb his house, whatever? We may have to set things a little higher, make it more important that he stay here a little bit longer, or more likely stay here a little longer, so we can set up where he has someplace safe to go other than his home, which is what he did end up doing, went to a secondary location. So there's lots of things that make these 2 cases different. In the end, it's very likely, I think, that both will be determined to be self-defense. The Kyle Rittenhouse, I hope ends up being self-defense, because I think that would be the most fair call, because I don't think in any way he went there with any intent to harm anyone. I think he wanted to be a medic and a soldier. Although one thing I want to tell him, if you're a medic in the military and you're carrying weapons, you lose your medic status. You get shot at just like anybody else. You're not supposed to be armed. But he wanted to go there, be a medic, play soldier, join his friends, doing something he believed in maybe. And then he got himself in a situation that was beyond his control, and he ended up shooting people. Still seems like mostly self-defense to me. Bad decisions, but self-defense. This kid had the gun there for protection. He didn't take it there to defend the school. He took it there in case someone attacked him. He could defend himself and take them out. So a little different intent there. And more so than intent, I think, to harm on the kid in Texas's case. You could make a much bigger point that it was an intent to harm. So not giving him too much leeway, but I'm not going to condemn him also, like I said, because circumstances. If you lived in a bad neighborhood and every time you went out, walking your dog, there were people who lived in these houses along your street who were just assholes and came out and threatened you and threw beer bottles at you and shoved you off the sidewalk, etc. And you said, well, from now on, I'm going to carry a gun when I go out there. And you've told the police, and they're like, well, ain't nothing we can do. You know, what are you going to do about it? You know, suck it up, be an adult, deal with it. And then I have to walk my dog every day, and you carried a gun, and one of them attacked you again, flung a beer bottle at your head, and you shot him. I think most of us would be going like, he's justified. So just apply that kind of thinking to what happened in that classroom. And if that turns out to be what happened, I think we can give the kid a little leeway. So if you can give Kyle Rittenhouse leeway, you can give this kid leeway. The benefit of the doubt, at least, until we find out different. And if we find out different, then skewer his ass. But right now, let's not find ourselves in a situation where we're condemning a lot of the tenets of self-defense and a lot of the reasons why we carry guns and a lot of the circumstances we would find that would be justifiable to carry a gun. Let's not demonize and disqualify those reasons simply because we want to condemn a kid. We want to jump on the bandwagon. Let's not do that. Doesn't make us look very consistent. Makes us look hypocritical, and then people wonder why the hypocritical stance. And in this case, these two guys have different skin colors. I'm not going to ignore that fact. It's going to make it look like the gun community doesn't really support black people, like a lot of black people have already been accusing of some of us of. Even those of us that do defend black people. So a lot of things to think about here before you make a decision on this case. And I know I've used up all the time here babbling incoherently, mostly. Because it's just a very complicated situation. And like I said, I think that people that are attacking the kid are often attacking their own values. So let's wait and find out what happens there. As far as the differences between him and Rittenhouse, there's tons of differences. If you want to make conspiracy theories about what's happening to Rittenhouse, I mean, go ahead. But for there to be a conspiracy theory, there has to be a reason. You have to ask, like, why is this being treated differently? And when you can't find a reasonable reason that it's being treated differently, then you make conspiracies. They might be true. But if you say, aha, why is this one being treated differently? And you're like, aha, well, he killed 3 people. He lives across state lines. He's underage. He was probably in danger if they actually released him. There's a lot of differences there. A lot of the things they did, they probably did for Rittenhouse's benefit. I can just tell you, I can see that happening. I have seen similar things happen. I've seen kids being taken into custody for violent acts when I worked for Child Protective Services. And the judge actually said, if I send you home, your alcoholic, crazy parent's going to kill you. So I'm going to reprimand you to Child Services and put you in temporary care for a while. Even though I wouldn't do that if you had a supportive family. You know, sometimes you make judgments based on the safety of the person that you're prosecuting. So keep that in mind. But like I say, I babbled on way too long about this. And I think you might be slightly more informed on what I feel about it now than you were before. But you're probably just as informed as I am on how I feel about it because, like I said, I don't really know yet. And since he wasn't a pretty blonde girl, I don't think I'm going to be able to rely on the media for the information. So I say, everyone take a breath, look at the situations, look at the circumstances, apply them to things that might apply to your life. Like I said, like the people that attack you while you're walking your dog. Then you have to walk your dog every day, and you're not going to move to a different neighborhood just because you got asshole neighbors down the street. Is it your fault if you decide, well, I'm going to take a gun to defend myself? Ask yourself that. And then let's just wait, like I said, see what happens. Like I think most of us have made up our mind about Kyle Rittenhouse. I think he deserves some punishment for the bad mistakes he made, but they don't include murder or manslaughter or any of those things. Those were all self-defense as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what the charge would be for making a stupid decision. I hope there's not really a serious charge for that because I would be in a lot of trouble. Hell, choosing this topic for this video, I'd probably get charged for that because this is going to piss a lot of people off probably. But I'll piss off the people that are defending this kid completely, and I'll piss off the people that love Kyle Rittenhouse, people who hate Kyle Rittenhouse. I get that every time I mention his name. You're defending a murderer. Or I get, oh, you're condemning a child who defended himself. And I'm like, well, there might be some room in between those two extremes, you know. Like I might think he was a kid that was defending himself but made some mistakes and needs to learn from his mistakes. It's not always one of those two extremes. And I'll probably get that about this Timothy kid too. But like I said, that's how I feel about it. I hope I've made it as clear as, I don't know, stone. But like I said, that's how I feel about it. And I guess that's the best way I can express it. All right, everybody. I went way over on that topic. So this is going to be a one-topic show today because I'm trying to keep these under 15 minutes, and I ain't even going to be able to do that today. But before I go, I do want to remind everyone that we are doing the silver bullet giveaway still. I think we'll give away 2 more silver bullets. It should have just been 1 more silver bullet, but I screwed up the order, so it's going to be 2 more silver bullets. And I do want to announce the winner that we drew last night. And I had to write this down on a piece of paper because I cannot pronounce this name and can definitely not remember it. Imad Khatib. Imad Khatib. I'm just going to call you shish kebab because that's a word I know that sort of sounds like that. I don't know a lot of words that sound like that. So shish kebab, you are the winner of the silver bullet. So contact me with your information. We'll get that sent out as soon as possible. The first 3 should be being sent out tomorrow. Maybe we can get yours sent out at the same time if you get to me quick enough. But if you haven't registered to win one of the silver bullets yet, we'll be giving another one away in 2 days. So you have until, actually it'll be 1 day after this video post. There won't be a drawing tonight during the live chat, but there will be a drawing tomorrow night during the live chat. And you have till 5 p.m. tomorrow to donate to be registered in that drawing because it's from 5 p.m. yesterday till 5 p.m. tomorrow for that drawing. So go over to tympistolproject.com, donate to the fundraiser for Athena's Angels Animal Rescue. If you donate $5 or more, you get an entry for every $5. And then tomorrow night during the show, we'll draw one of those people's names. They'll win one of the genuine silver rounds, live rounds. It's throwing silver rocks at a werewolf is not going to do much good. They have to be live rounds, not those fake ones you see on the internet. And these are like the only place you can get live silver rounds. So don't waste your time looking other places because, like I said, I looked for years, couldn't find them, finally had to have them start being made. That's my one contribution to the world is offering them protection against werewolves. So I want to remind everyone of that before we go. And I want to remind everyone we are doing the Veterans Day giveaway. Storm & Norman Gunworks is, and I wish I would quit smacking my fucking lips. It's a wintertime thing when my lips get dry. I go a lot. But you can deal with it. That's the least of the offensive things about me. So I think you can handle it. But Storm & Norman Gunworks is giving away a rifle to a veteran who deserves a little special thank you. So while you're over at TYMP donating to the Silver Bullet giveaway fundraiser, go over and nominate a veteran in your life that you know that deserves a special thank you this Veterans Day. Just use the Handguns for Heroes entry form, enter their information, and a winner will be drawn on Veterans Day to win a free rifle. I don't really know what the rifle is. Yeah, I know it's like an AR or something. Nice new rifle. I'll try to get that information for tomorrow. Maybe I'll be a little prepared tomorrow. Why not for a change? But also, when you're over there, like I said, sign up a veteran to win the free rifle from Storm & Norman Gunworks. And there is a link to Storm & Norman's email down below in the sponsors section if you want to ask him a question. Or if you're looking for an AR, because I know he's selling some. If you're in California, I think he's got some extra ones for sale. Click his link, although I shouldn't say that because that makes it look like I'm promoting. Don't just disregard all that. But, strike that from the record. The jury will disregard. That's how effective that really is. But like I say, with all that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off here as I usually do by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, well, it is what it is. It could be a lot worse. Like I said, get eaten by a werewolf. Hopefully not if you get one of these silver bullets. But, things could still be better. You could not get eaten by a werewolf. And, if we as a community start to ignore the fearmongers, the profiteers, the fake activists, the people who just want to keep us angry and afraid so that they can manipulate you and make money off of you, and to keep you distracted so you don't start asking questions about, what are you really doing for our rights? What are you really doing besides just making money? That's why they want to keep you scared and distracted. If we start ignoring those people, keep level heads about us, and do what we need to do in this country to protect our rights, what things will be for people who value the Second Amendment and freedom in general in this country in the very near future is better.